it's Fantasia. Welcome to my channel, Sewing with Tay. Today we have another fun project. So welcome in, get your coffee, and let's start our new project. So today I have been inspired by this bag I saw on Pinterest. Now I do hand knitting, and my most successful videos on my YouTube channel are hand knitting, even though I sew. So I thought, what else could I do with the hand knitting? Last year I did a hand knit purse. I did a hand knit purse class. I only did one, but I was trying to find other ways to do other things other than a hand knit sweater, because it's about to be April, it's about to be warm. Nobody's trying to take my hand knitting sweater class. So I thought I would bring back the hand knit bag class, and I went to Pinterest to find some inspiration. And I saw this bag that I thought was like super cute, kind of want in real life. And I'm like, went on a hunt to find leather looking yarn. It took me a while, and I still didn't find very many options, but I did come across these chunky filament yarn. They call it super chunky socks and yarn is what their business is, but they're like leather-ish, and it has the same, like, I don't know where the end is, the same like cotton fill that the other chunky yarn that you use for bags have. So I'm excited to see how this is going to come out. I'm super excited. I'm nervous it might be a little shiny, but I don't know. I saw one in brown, and I'm like, oh, the brown looks so good, but I could not find this in brown. They only had black and red, and I love red, but I didn't want a red leather looking bag. But they took a couple days to arrive, and they came vacuum sealed like this, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I've gotten some vacuum sealed yarn, like most of my yarn comes vacuum sealed, but never this flat. I was just like, nervous, but here it is. I took it out, let it breathe for a little bit, and it kind of looks like this. I think it's because it's only one. And normally when I get vacuum sealed yarn, it's like a couple of these in those, so it's a little bit bigger. But it's only one of those. I bought 4 of these, and it wasn't cheap. Like, I'm cheap in regards to like most yarns. It was a little bit more expensive than some of my other yarns. So I'm like, I hope I like this. Hope this is a cool project. But if anyone else wants to do this, I don't know if I can find other options for this leather-ish yarn. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm going to follow my own tutorial because it's been over a year since I've done it. I'm gonna follow myself doing this again, but I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Hopefully I have enough yarn for that, but do it a little bit bigger because I want like a big tote. So we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna walk through the process together. The end result will be a surprise to the both of us. So let's get into the hand knit in this project. Alright, so here is my yarn. Kind of looks like this once you open it up. This is the end. We're gonna crisscross this guy, and then we're going to crisscross it, pin the tail on top of the working yarn. This one here. We're going to go from the bottom and make a slip knot just like that. I've seen people do it the other way. You twist it. So here's my tail, my working yarn. Twist it and then pull this through the bottom like that. Either way works. I want this bag to be a little bit on the slouchy side, bigger side. So let's go for our loop size. Let's do like 2. This is 2 inches. Like 2.5, 3 inches, like maybe this big. And I'm going to try, let's say, I don't know, 20. Let's do 20-ish loops. We'll see how it goes. So here's this. We have the first one. I personally like to put my hand down on this to hold it while I make my loops. I like to leave my yarn flat on the table when I'm making my loops. So we have 1, 2. So you're going to take your loop and grab your working yarn and pull it through. 3. Zoom in a bit for you. So here's my loop. Here's my chain. This is 1, 2, 3. Loop. Pull our yarn up through the loop. 4. up through the loop 5, up through the loop 6, up through this loop 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I feel like that one looks a little weird. I'm not sure what's happening here. Okay, there we go. 14, 15, 15. This is looking kind of big. I'm gonna stop here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 loops. I feel like that's my size. Alright, so I think I have 15, but I decided that 16 is better because I feel like even numbers always seem to work better. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. 16 loops here. This is our working yarn, and we're going to take this working yarn and we are going to start what I like to call the foundational row. Take your working yarn, you're going to make one more loop, and we're going to pull it up like this. So we're going to start going this direction. So this is one. So when you make that loop, we're going to pull it up towards the top like that. So you're going to take this loop here, you're going to go to our next loop. Let's see if we can zoom in. The lighting is not amazing. I'm trying to figure this out. So I see this loop here. Oh no, sorry. It's this one. So this loop here, we're going to go inside that space there. This is our working yarn. We're going to pull it through here to make loop number 2. So we're going to keep going down our chain. This is our chain to bring this yarn from the bottom up to make these loops here. So here's loop number 3. So here's our loop. This is our loop right here. You can see that. It's our loop there. So this working yarn will get pulled right up. So now we have 1, 2, and 3. You see here is our next loop. I'm going to take our working yarn. We're going to pull it up through this chain. You want to try to keep your loops relatively all about the same size. So we're going to keep going. So here's another loop. The way I took this yarn apart caused it to make a gigantic mess. So I'm going to have to untangle that. So here is the next one. And the goal at the end is to have 16 loops. I'm not very good at counting my loops, so you'll see me triple checking to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So let's see what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we have 16 here. And now what I like to do is flip this like this. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side of the loops. So we're going to come right through here. So we have the loop on this side. Take my working yarn, pull it around, and you see there's the loop here. The space is there. I'm going to pull my yarn up just like that. So we'll have one on this side and one on that side. Then we go to the next little crossover. Pull my yarn up, and then to the next one. This yarn is a little twisty because of this whole situation. Alright, so we're going to go here, then here. It's a little big. Just like that. Like that. We're just going to do this all the way to the end. Again, the goal is to have 16 loops on both sides. And one more. I think there should be one more, but a little bit confused. There we go. Let's see. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, now we have what I like to call our foundation row. And I'm going to get a piece of paper. What is this? I'm going to use this paper from the label. So that I can count the rows, because I'm very bad at counting the rows. So if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. So now we're going to start knitting our bag, and we're going to start with row number 1. Alright, so we have our foundation row. I'm taking this piece of scrap fabric, string, whatever the case, whatever you want to do. I'm going to put it on this end here. I'm going to put it on this one, just like a loose knot, because we're going to start to knit around this guy to make our bag, but it sometimes can get confusing of when you got to the end. So we're going to put this one here so we know when we get to this one, we're going to mark it to say like we're done with 1, we've done 2, we've done 3, just so we can keep track, because once we start to go more, it will get a little bit confusing. So this would be our last. In actuality, this one will be loop number 1, this one will be the last loop. So we're going to start here and start to knit around in a circle. Alright, so we're going to start with loop number 1. We have our working yarn, and things to remember. If you haven't seen any of my other knitting videos, you want to make sure we are always pulling our yarn from inside the loop. So here's our loop. We want to make sure we're pulling it up like this. We don't want to flip it over and start doing it down, because then it'll mess our stitches up. So we want to make sure all of our stitches are the same. So we want to take our loop and pull our yarn up through like that. So we're going to keep going all the way around our foundation row for our bag. So there's one. So we should have 32 loops, because we have 16 on one side and 16 on the other. I did have to do some work to untangle my yarn because it was a hot mess. Now make sure we're keeping our loops all about the same size. You don't want none that are like too small. Especially if your loops are small, then they have a tendency to kind of pull out. You might lose one, and then you might have a hole somewhere. So when you get to the end here, this one is the end of the first row, and this is the beginning of the next row. But this is going to be a bag, so this needs to kind of come closer here so that you don't have like a hole, a big hole here. So when I make this one, I'm going to try to, this space here where the yarn goes from this loop to this loop, try to pull that tight. You see how these two come together? Pull that like tight so that we make sure you don't lose any of your length. Pull these kind of tight so that eventually these are like best friends instead of like across the street. So we're going to pull that a little tight. Then we're going to take this yarn and we're going to come across here, and we're going to keep going the same way. So pull it up, pull this up, pull it up, pull it up. I do want to see how many rows or how much do you get accomplished with a bag this size with these yarns, with this yarn that I bought this size. There's only one size. I couldn't find anything bigger. So we'll see, like, if you want to make a smaller bag or a bigger bag, how many skeins of this like filament yarn you are going to need. So, and these loops are a little bit big. If you want these to be tighter, if you want your knits to be smaller, you can make them smaller. Just make sure they're still big enough for you to get your fingers in. We've gotten to the end. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to make my loop. I'm going to put it back on. And then I'm going to go to my notepad and I'm going to put 1. So now we're going to keep going. And same thing with these two. Like in the other end, this is the end of this side. This is the beginning of this side. These are pretty close now, but we want to make sure that they're pretty tight because eventually this is going to be the side of our bag and we want to make sure there isn't a big gap there. So we're going to pull that in kind of tight to make sure that these two are close together. We don't want this one to get short though. There we go. Just like that. So now we're going to keep going. This is a little twisted. Just untwist her. We don't have much yarn left, so I don't know how much farther we're going to go with this one, so we'll see. Wait, I redid that, so this one goes here. Alright, so we didn't manage to make 2 whole rows. So with 1 ball of yarn, we were able to do our chain stitch, our foundation row, and then 1 1/2. So we'll see how we go. I just don't want my bag to be short and wide. So we'll see if I might have to order another one. It's a very expensive purse. Order another one of these. But since we ran out of yarn, how we put these two together is, I forgot. We're gonna take the white filament part, pull it back, and we're gonna cut that off. Like that. Same on both sides. And then cut off some of that fluff. Then we're going to tie these in a knot. So I'm going to go here. Might be a little short. So we have a knot here. I'm just going to kind of trim. These aren't my good scissors. Alright, so we're going to keep going. That's out the way. You don't need that. Try to make these a little bit smaller. See if we can get a little more use out of this yarn. A little bit tighter. The outside of your bag, so you see these stitches. It's kind of where we're going. So these are knit stitches, and then this side is purl stitches. So these go left to right. These go up and down. Okay, this is kind of hard to see, but like the bag is starting to curve over like this. So I've gotten down to my next row. And I'm going to keep going around. It's pretty big, but I don't know if it's as big as I want it to be. So we're just going to keep going. Alright, I think this is going to be my last row. And I started talking on the phone and I lost track of how many rows I did. So I'm going to have to count them. And we're just going to finish this up. Finish this row. Because this is my last ball of yarn. So we're going to flip her, see how it goes. You don't have to be super gentle with this. If she ends up being like some of the loops coming out, it's fine. We can fix them. It's a really big bag. Oh no, we missed one here. See if we can fix that. here is the bag. This is a really big bag. Okay, here she is. Can't even fit her all into the camera. I feel like I'm gonna do it over. Make it a little bit narrower. So maybe 10 loops, maybe 12 loops for a bag. This is really big. Okay, so you see here, some of these come out. When we flipped it, that's okay. We can just fix her. There was one side that had a loop that came out, like these ones here. This guy here was missed, so we're just gonna squeeze her in here. Alright, so this is our bag. We'll see how she comes out. But this is the bag right now, and we are going to do the gathering method, and I'm going to take the end of my yarn. So again, for reference, this is how much I have left. I'm going to take the end of this, and I'm going to insert her into the loops, like so. So I'm inserting it from what will be the inside of the bag. So from the bag, I'm going to insert them. Make sure you don't skip any, because with this method, if you skip one, you basically have to take the whole thing out and do it again. So, well, not the whole thing, you have to take out all the previous stitches. So let's make sure we're getting all of them. There should be roughly 32 if we haven't lost any along the way. Make sure none of your loops have come out, like so. I'm going to flip her over, make it easier. So we're continuing, putting it from the back. Make sure you don't have any loops that have come apart. And we're coming to the end. This loop here. And then this is our last loop where we ended our rows. So you go inside of her as well. And now we're going to, I left all of this yarn. So we're just going to pull this until all the yarn comes through. Looks like there's one more here. And pull all of this excess yarn all the way through. So you can make this opening as big or as loose or as tight as you want. So like you see here, we still have some space here, but if you wanted this to go even tighter like that, you could. I'm gonna open her up just a little bit, like that. So far, this is our bag. And I probably will redo this, make her a little bit narrower, but a little bit taller. But let's finish this. So now we have the rest of our yarn. You see she's out here, and there's a little space here. See that space there? So we're going to pull her, this working yarn, to the inside and pull a loop out right there. And then we have our working yarn on this side, you have a loop here. So we're going to go over this. I'm actually going to, you see these two here? So this is the space. I'm actually going to pull my loop all the way down to this second one. And then my working yarn here, I'm going to pull it through here to make a loop, like that. And then I'm going to take this working yarn and make a loop like this. So now we're going to start our handle. So we're just going to keep making loops just like we did for our chain stitch. So you have your loop here, and then you can make this as long or as short or as tight. I think I want that to be a little bit tighter as you want it to be. There is a strap. I'm just gonna test this out really quick just to see. And then I'm gonna make it a little bit longer, so I have the option to kind of do crossbody. Our yarn here. So we're gonna push this yarn, this loop here, inside the bag, one of the spaces. Then we're going to take our working yarn and we're going to pull it through. Pull it all the way through. And then I like to kind of open this up. And then I like to kind of make another loop. So I just pushed it into the one below. And then I'm going to take the end of this yarn, pull it through again, and then kind of tie these two loops together in a knot, and then cut it. And you might want to cut, I'm not going to cut this because I'm going to take it apart, but cut and then tuck this into there to hide it a bit. So here's our jumbo bag. It didn't really turn out to be the tote bag that I want to, but it's still kind of cute. Alright, here is the bag. It's so big. It's not necessarily what I wanted. So I feel like I went too wide. I'm going to try to go half down and then get a little bit more height and try to get it to be a little bit more square. I don't know. I kind of like this, like the gathered look, but I didn't want her to be so like rectangle. I wanted her to be more, well, I guess rectangle, but more rectangle this way than horizontal. So I don't call it a fail. We did it. We made a jumbo bag. Like maybe if I had more height, like if this was one more higher, would I like it better? I don't know. But here's the bag. Okay, here is the redemption round. I took it out and started over, and I only did it 12 rows wide. I still use all four 2.2 pound skeins of this yarn. So for reference, this is what I have left over. And instead of the gathering method I showed you the last time, I'm going to show you guys the cast off method. So we're going to make a new loop, just like here, like we've been doing this whole time. We're going to take that new loop and put it over the next loop. So the current loop that's already there. And with that loop, we're going to make a new one. And with that new loop, over the next one. So I tell people, make a new loop, over the next one. So you want to pull that loop over the next one. Make a new loop with your working yarn, and then pull that new loop over the next one. And I'm sorry this isn't clearer because I didn't flip my bag. If I would have flipped it, it would have been a little easier to see without that top bag. But I'm leaving this real time because I understand this sometimes can be difficult for newbies or people who have never knitted, and I'm not a knitter per se. I just know how to do this. So make a new loop right there, take that loop, and you're going to pull it over top the next one. Make a new loop, over the next one, new loop, over the next one, new loop, over the next one, new loop, over the next one. Now you want to make sure you see how I have these spaces up here. Your loops may come out, they may pull out with all the tugging and moving around of your bag, so make sure that the loop that you are pulling over or making a new loop with doesn't have a drop stitch, basically meaning that long piece of yarn there. So as I get to it, you'll see I'll fix it. Make sure you loop it the right way, because I made that mistake and some of my loops were like pulled the wrong way, and you can see it on the outside of my bag. So here is a little clearer view. I put my tape roller, my tape thing there to kind of hold the bag down because it is kind of flexible and moving around. But you will see here, there's my loop. I'm going to pull that one over the next one. Make a new loop, over the next one. Make a new loop, pull that yarn through, over the next one. Make a new loop, and over the next one. So you're going to do this all the way until you get to the end. And again, you want to make sure you don't have any stitches dropped, any stitches missing. And then you're just going to continue to do this process over and over again. So I got confused there, so I went back and made a new loop, went back over, made a new loop. See, that one came out, fix it, over it, make a new loop, over the next one. And that is my last loop. But you will have a space down here from where you started. That's where we're going to start our strap. So we are going to take that loop there and we're going to pull it from the outer, which is actually the inside of the bag. So we're going to push it so that it's coming out towards you. So we're going to find that empty space there. And I was just double checking. I feel like my side might have been a little bit off. But you're going to pull it towards you, pull the loop up towards you. And then you're going to use your working yarn to make a new loop, just like that. And we're going to continue that process for our strap. So you just do it over and over again. You can make these loops as tight or as loose as you want them to be. I did want this to be a little bit more slouchy, so I did make my loops a little bit bigger, so there's a little bit more space in there. But I was actually running out of yarn, and as I already told y'all, I don't have any more yarn there, sold out of the rest of this black yarn, so I got to use what I got. So here is my bag. I'm going to take that loop on the end of my strap, and I'm going to pull it over, and I'm going to push it into the bag, and then I'm going to take the end of my tail there and I'm going to pull tight, and then I'm going to cut that filament out of there, and then I'm going to tie that piece extra tight on the inside so that it is secure. Now, will I do this again? Absolutely. There's some things I would do differently. When I redid this, I was in my car, which is why some of the loops are a little, like, I did mess up and started looping them the wrong way. So you will see I have a couple of purl stitches on the outside with my knit stitches. Hated it, but I'm like, I'm not doing this over again. I just want to finish it so I can see what it looks like. So here's the bag. And now I'm going to very easily try to flip this inside out. This is my tail at the bottom of the bag. You can cut this, or you can just tuck it and hide it inside of it, just like this. And because this is a hand knit bag, you would have to put some type of lining in here if you don't want things to fall out of it. But for now, it's just the aesthetic. I wanted to see, what does this bag look like? And that is what it looked like. And right here where you see me fidgeting, that's where my purl stitch was. And you'll see there's a couple more purl stitches right there where I got mixed up and I looped my bag the wrong way. Alright y'all, thank y'all so much for watching my video and going with me through the chaos of making this giant leathery bag. It is a little loud. I don't know if you can hear that. It's a little windbreakery, but I think it's super cute. We'll see how long it lasts, but I think it was fun to make, something different than what I've made before, and I'm gonna make another one in a regular fabric and see how that turns out. But thank y'all so much. If you like these type of hand knitting videos, please leave me a comment in the comment section and let me know how I did, if you learned something, if you want to try it out yourself. But until next time, y'all, bye.